You've probably heard that AI agents are a smarter version of ChatGPT, something that runs a bit longer and does a bit more. That's not what they are at all. I've spent the last few years building AI agents first for my own work, then for the companies that I consulted. One of the recent projects inspired me to film this video, a hedge fund that wanted to automate the financial reporting they do daily and they spend hours on. We've created an AI agent that runs by itself every day and saves them hours of work. That's why I want to show you what's actually possible. In the next few minutes, you'll know exactly what the agent is, what one could actually do for your work, for your business, or for your day-to-day life. And you'll have a clear path to actually trying one yourself. So an agent isn't just a chatbot with a few extra steps. It's built from 4 things that a chatbot doesn't have. And once you understand those things, agents will stop being a buzzword and will become something you actually use yourself. First, it's a persona. Every agent has a custom system prompt, a specific identity role, a way of operating. Some people call it a soul, some people call it persona. Anthropic calls it custom instructions. Think of it as a job description for your hire, except you write it. This is what makes the agent work like you rather than being a generic agent that can fit anybody. The second one is skills. Skills are repeatable workflows that agents can run. Not some generic knowledge, but some specific skills that you've learned how to do and now can pass to the agent. A good way of thinking about skills is something that you can do every day. Some knowledge that you know of that you know how to repeat. So for example, a financial analyst that has to do the same report every day. And this financial analyst probably learned this by doing it over and over again. So skills are a way to teach AI the same thing so that it can repeat the specific workflows or specific instructions for specific use cases. The third part of the anatomy is access to your tools, so that the agents can use the same tools that you use. Do you use Notion, Granola, email? All of those things, if the agent can access them the same way that you do, it becomes that much more capable. With it, it can act on your behalf in the systems you live every day. And the fourth part is computer access. If it can operate on your computer within a specific folder so that it can access the files, change them, update them, and do whatever you can do with them, again, that is the fourth capability that's missing from chatbots that makes agents that much more useful. And there's one more ingredient I didn't mention. Agents can be proactive. They can run on a schedule or run on a specific trigger. That's where the real value is as well. And we'll go over it in a second. Here's the framing I would like you to think about. If you wanted AI to duplicate yourself and be able to do everything that you can do, what would you have to give it? The answer would be your knowledge, your skill, access to your tools, to your computer, and the context that you have of your work and on everyday tasks. That's exactly the anatomy of the agent, a persona that thinks exactly how you would think, a workflow that was turned into a repeatable skill, your tools connected and access to your computer to act on them. An agent isn't just a chatbot that talks faster and has a bit more capabilities. It's the closest thing to a digital worker that currently exists. Okay, so where do those agents actually live? Let's break it down. There are 2 categories: pre-built agents that you can set up pretty fast, and build your own where you need a bit more setup. In the pre-built category, Claude Cowork is one of the best tools out there. It has custom instructions, it has access to your tools, it can work on your computer. There are more that are doing this similar thing. So for example, Codex, even though it is a more coding tool, they're trying to also position it for non-coding tasks because it can operate on your computer, it can access your files, it can connect to your tools, so it's a pretty good agent if you want to try this out. Claude Code is, again, even though positioned as a coding tool, it's an incredible agent that if you learn how to operate for non-technical tasks, you will be able to achieve a lot more value from it. There's also Computer from Perplexity. This one is gated behind their $200 tier, so even though I tried it out, I wouldn't say that it's that much better than something else, so it's not worth kind of running in and paying for it right away. Now, if you want to have something more custom, there are 3 things that you can think about. First one is the workflow automation tools like N8N or Zapier or Make.com, in which you can create those custom workflows or custom agents. I wouldn't call them very useful at this point. There are much better tools out there. Second category is the open source agentic systems like OpenClaw or Odysseus for PewDiePie or Hermes Agent. All of them are a bit more technical. You have to know how to operate them. It's harder to set them up, but they are more powerful than Claude Cowork, for example. That's why they're so popular. And if you want to push the limits of what's currently possible, you can create managed agents from Claude, or you can create your own using Claude Code. And if you're interested to learn how to do those things, I have a guide how to build with AI, link in the description, you can check it out. Now let me show you what it looks like in the real world, starting with something simple all of us do every day, research. You're preparing for a sales client call. You need a lot of info on this client. What is this meeting about? Who is this client? What is the context that you talked about? You need a quick read about a competitor, a market summary, a background on this client. The agent can read, synthesize, and deliver the brief for you. That's one of the most reliable things that the agents can do right now, and also very valuable. And if your setup can allow to spawn sub-agents, your research can be that much more in depth, because imagine one AI agent can go over high-level topic of the competitive research, and if it spawns sub-agents, each sub-agent can go and analyze each specific competitor in detail and come back with a report. That's why those agentic systems where you have more agents that are running underneath it are incredible. By the way, if you're finding this useful, consider subscribing and liking this video. Now here's another great use case, scheduled agents. There are two types when it comes to how agents run, on a schedule or on a trigger. Scheduled agents go back to the hedge fund implementation example that I've mentioned. It runs every day after received Barclays newsletter, and it takes all of the values from it, converts it into an Excel, then creates a PDF report in a style that they use and sends it to the analyst that can review it, and if it's good, they can proceed onwards. Trigger agents is something more custom to set up, and not all of the systems allow it, but these are also incredible. If you receive a lead, it can automatically score the lead, research on it, and fill it into your database. If you're a recruiter, it can score the candidate. Another amazing use case of scheduled agents that you can imagine is running every day in the morning for a sales team, a specific agent that reads the meetings that are going to happen today, then goes ahead and summarizes everything that you need to know about these clients, looks at the transcripts of the calls with these clients to understand what are the latest steps that you discussed, what are the next steps to discuss, what are the things that you need to know about it, and the things that you need to be concerned about. It can also do a quick scan on the internet to see if there were any specific news about this company that you need to know. And then it sends you this brief so that you are prepared for this day instead of you having to do it all by yourself. A lot of clients that I've worked with already are using a use case like this every day when they're doing sales. The other thing that you need to keep in mind is whenever you're working with agents, it's important to know how to talk to them and how to brief them. A lot of people ask for very generic instructions and don't give them enough context or tools. That's why I'm saying all of these things that I've mentioned, the 4 of them, are important, in addition to being able to communicate clearly what you want from them. That's one of the issues that I faced when I was working in McKinsey with junior analysts. If you don't give them exact instructions of what kind of research you want, what is the output, how much time you want them to spend on this. So if you don't go over all of these details, they will not deliver the thing that you want because they assume a lot of things they don't know. So thus, giving clear instructions, giving access to context, to tools, to everything that they need to know to deliver and do a good job is important for the agent to be actually useful. The other thing that you need to know is the first time you're setting up an agent, it knows nothing about you, nothing about your work, nothing about your goals, nothing about your tools or skills. So what I would suggest in the beginning is first spend 10 or 15 minutes in the chat talking to the agent, explaining who you are, what you do, what are your goals, so that it can record all of this, or that it can create a profile that you can copy, paste, and use for it. This way it will reflect the things you're working on and be a good base for the context of what you do. Next, as you're working with it, you will probably add more context. They can record it, and you can also ask it to make some things that you do into skills. Some of the tools like Hermes do those things automatically, and they convert common things you do into skills. Other tools like Claude Cowork don't do it automatically, so the way that I would suggest to do it is whenever you have a thing that you are always repeating and you think could be automated with AI, you can just ask AI to create it into a skill and test it out. Creating skills is not very intuitive. You can just ask AI to help you with it for the first time, but with time you'll be able to do it better. But still, even I draft those skills with AI just because it can draft those things better. But the important thing to note is with time, as you're using those skills, you will have to improve them. You will see the mistakes AI makes using those skills, and you will ask it to add those mistakes into the skill itself so that it doesn't repeat those. Then you will connect the tools that you own, and you will try to give as much context to this agent as possible. In Cowork specifically, you will create a folder, and what I would suggest is to add all of the files that you work on, all of the context in this folder, and continue operating there. Because the more access to those things that you work on the agent has, the better it can do its own job. And then with time, even though the initial session is going to be an investment, it will work better and better by updating its memories and by updating its skills. But if you want a more detailed walkthrough on how to set up Cowork, comment below and I will make a video. So let's talk about where to actually start. If there's one tool that I could point you towards if you haven't built agents before, is Claude Cowork. Cowork is the closest thing to a pre-built agentic system that anybody can find right now for regular users, because it has custom instructions to make a persona. It has skills, it has access to your computer and files, it has access to your tools for MCPs. So the quick win that I would suggest is create a Cowork project, set up custom instructions, start adding skills, memories, files there, connect your tools, add as much context as possible, and start using it on your day-to-day tasks. But again, remember that you have to prompt it properly. You have to explain things to it. Otherwise, it won't be able to do as good of a job as you want it to do. You'll immediately feel the difference between this and a regular chatbot. So setting up Cowork probably takes 20 or 30 minutes in total, and if you want a detailed tutorial, again, comment down below and I'll make a video. But I want to be straight with you. Agents are incredibly useful, but getting value from them takes effort. Creating a good persona, creating skills, connecting your tools, giving it the right context and instructions. These are the things that you will get better at with time. It's not like hiring somebody who already knows the job. And the most advanced systems are genuinely impressive, so OpenClaw, Hermes Agent, or Odysseus from PewDiePie. But they're complex to set up and maintain. And even in those and simpler tools, the gap between somebody who understands agents and understands how to work with them versus somebody who doesn't is significant. And it shows up immediately in the value they get out of it. And that's the reason to not wait and start right now. These skills compound, so people who are starting today will be that much more ahead of people who start in 12 months from now. The ones who wait for it to get easier will have to spend more time trying to catch up. So agents aren't just smarter chatbots. A chatbot waits for your message. Agents are proactive and will do the work for you. Give it a persona, your skills, your contacts, your tools, and your computer, and it's the closest thing to a digital version of you that you can imagine. An employee who never forgets the process and is never tired. Who runs your reporting while you sleep. Who has your client briefs ready before you arrive. And who gets better every time you use it. That's what the agent actually is. It's not a better chatbot, it's an extension of you.